Hey there, Bruce, and welcome back to Game of Fortune. We are very much at the end of what I believe is, well, I know now is Kishi's route, so let's see how that ends and then pick the next route, which I think is going to involve us choosing to kill Devon rather than sacrificing ourselves to save her as Clyde. We shall see. No, you don't. But you won't understand until you realize how pointless it is. Please have the bravery to turn away from this. Nice shot there, Kishi. I mean, it'd be pretty sad if you missed a point-blank shot like that, but a win is a win, isn't it? Belle clapped her hand and Richard's body fizzled away in blue flames. Now, shall we be going? You know the way, don't you? Don't you have to, like, show me a door or something? That's how it happened before. Normally, yes, but we're already here. Belle snapped her fingers and I was blinded by a bright flash of light. It took a few seconds for my eyes to adjust, but I already knew where I was. The warm sunlight kissing my skin, the gentle breeze of the wind blowing against my hair, the grass, the clovers tickling my legs. Right, here again. This place was always so calm compared to the madness of the games. Maybe that's the point, a juxtaposition to really show how far we've come. How we push ourselves to survive and we're rewarded with this beautiful place. Nothing's changed in these past 4 years, huh? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wow, Belle really hasn't changed this place up at all since I last visited. I wonder if she's still got that wonderful tea. That's what you're thinking, right? Not really. Honestly, the tea is the last thing I was thinking about. Really? My world-renowned tea that warms the soul and melts away your troubles? The kind that can only be enjoyed here? Your tea's great and all, but it's not like the best thing since sliced bread. Comparing my tea to mass-produced bread, I'm heartbroken, Kishi. Either way, come take a seat. I did as she asked and sat across from her and watched as she poured the amber-coloured tea into the cup across from me. So, how have you been these past 4 years? Why are you making small talk? You know how things have been the past 4 years. I mean, you're a god. Don't you just know everything that goes on in the world? But it's much more fun to hear it from you, and contrary to what you think, I don't know everything there is about the world, just most of it. Life, while predictable, still has moments of random chaos that I absolutely enjoy. Sure, whatever floats your boat. The past 4 years have been trying, to say the least. After I came here last time, I had to take time off so I could get my mental health in check. Mind you, it's still kind of frayed, no thanks to your sadistic games. But you love my sadistic games, don't you? No, I don't. You should know better than anyone how these games can tear a person's mind apart. I probably cried my eyes out in almost half the games I played 4 years ago. True, but look at you now, so tough and stalwart. I don't think you'd break as often as you think you did. You do. But I shouldn't have to be tough, stone-faced and closed off. It doesn't feel right. Sometimes I get emotionally dull when I should be elated or heartbroken or afraid or something else. I just feel weird, like I'm shutting myself off. Doesn't matter though now, I guess. Eventually things calmed down. Zeph and I moved on. My band got more and more popular and Zeph's own celebrity status was doing well. Though the scorn of my grandmother meant that he wasn't getting much help anymore. Well, you know, she did lose that precious immortality that she so loved. Yeah. It took a moment to sip the tea Belle poured me. It was different than I remembered it. Last time I drank it, it was sweeter, tasting of blueberries with a sharp mint flavour as well. But now it's not as sweet. It's slightly bitter, still has hints of blueberry and mint and maybe dark chocolate? What a strange flavour. But I really like it. Enjoying the tea? Everyone does. It's tailored to your tastes after all. It tastes different, I like it, but have my tastes really changed all that much? You'd be surprised how fast people's tastes can change. One day you might love dark chocolate, the next you're really into white chocolate. Hopefully my taste doesn't change that fast. Doubtful, but who knows? Hey Belle, do you know anything about people going crazy after losing immortality? You were asking Elizabeth about that earlier, weren't you? Yeah, you probably know about that, right? Is this some kind of soul addiction or whatever? Soul addiction, that's hilarious. I suppose in a way it's like that, but it's more complex than that. I would call it a divine madness instead. Divine madness? Kishi, you have to remember that immortality isn't something that comes naturally to life. Or life as you all know it. It's an aspect that's completely alien to life. Imbuing something alive with immortality, why, that changes your whole being. It's like turning an amoeba into a human. Is that really true? That seems like a real drastic jump in complexity. Isn't immortality just like not being able to die? From a holistic approach, sure, but on the small details level, there are a number of changes that happen to the body and soul. If you rip it away, it'd be like treating tearing little holes all over your body, mind and soul. That's some serious damage, you know. Imagine being an amoeba, turning into a human and then turning back into an amoeba, and somehow remembering what it felt like to be human. That's not possible. There's no brain, no sensory organs similar to a human's. There's no way to be able to remember it. But it does. The soul is quite a beautiful thing, Kishi. Even if the body is different, the soul can remain the same. Imagine though, it would be devastating to life, to live such a life after living as a human, to regress in progress, to feel emptiness, to feel things missing. Why, I'd call that a divine madness of the greatest degree. You'd have such a mental breakdown that you might just implode. So you're saying that granting immortality really changes someone? Elevates them to some non-human status? Belle simply nodded and took a sip of her tea. It's one step closer to divinity, and the gap between divinity and humanity is like an infinite chasm. But you make quite the progress in closing that gap by becoming immortal. Taking that away, well, that's quite damaging indeed. And does giving it back make things better? Certainly, it's like plugging up a leak in a boat. Though it doesn't have to be immortality, any divine gift can do the trick. But since your grandma knows about immortality, the best is probably... About immortality the best, it's probably what she latches onto the most. I see. Well, at least that explains things. Sort of. Right, now let's get to the fun part. Are you ready to make a wish, Kishi? Been ready since the game started. What's that grin on your face? Grin? What grin? I'm just excited to see what you're gonna wish for, Kishi. It's not at all like there's something that's gonna happen that'll totally upend your expectations for this wish in any way, shape or form. Okay. Well, that's not ominous at all. Alright, well, I'll just go ahead and make my wish then. I wish for Kana Umishima to have immortality. That wish has been denied. What? I apologize, Kishi, but that wish can't be granted, therefore it's been denied. Discarded, deleted, destroyed. Why, frankly, I can't even remember what the wish you said was. Wanna give it a redo? What? What are you talking about? Why can't you grant that wish? Is there some rule about only being able to have immortality once or something? Of course not. You can gain or lose immortality a number of times. I could give it to someone 4 times or 4 million times. Then why? Do you need a hint or do you want to figure it out all by yourself? Because she's already immortal. That's the only thing that makes sense. Puzzles are more fun when you solve them on your own, after all. Not that this really is the most complex puzzle in the world. Or she's dead. Someone wished her to die. Okay then. There's only 2 reasons why Belle wouldn't grant that wish. She's either already immortal or she's dead. And I'm really hoping it's just the first one. Everett's anyone who wished for someone to die. It's possible that one of those two, or that Everett. Did Clyde or Lilith grant her immortality already? Wrong. Incorrectamundo. They chose different people to receive immortality. Why would they care for your grandma? Then is my grandmother dead? You can't give immortality to something that's already dead. An immortal corpse. That'd be a hilarious paradox, wouldn't it? What? But why? Why would she be dead? Was she murdered after we came here? Or was it Everett? The white wreath. That means he wished for someone to die. He's the only one who could have done it. Is that what you're saying? Oh, Kishi, I'm not saying anything more than your grandmother is certainly dead as a dirt pile. Who knows how she died? Maybe she had a heart attack. Or maybe she tripped and broke her neck. Or maybe she was stabbed. Well, I do know, but frankly, it's not my place to tell secrets. Don't play around with me. It must have been Everett. That's the only thing that makes sense. Maybe, maybe not, but what's it matter to you? Or what killed her? You should be thinking about the next wish you want to make. Is that zombie really trying to keep my grandmother down? Did he really wish for her to die? What's his goal? Is this what Nigel wanted? Sending those two and pretending to protect him, but really they were trying to kill the other leaders? Now that doesn't make sense. With those two, there's no way that they could kill Cole, Sebastian, and my grandmother, unless there are others involved in this too. Is that why Richard was trying to convince me not to get in his way? Or the others? Are Richard and Philip trying to overthrow the current Digits of Eden power hierarchy? No, that doesn't make sense either. Philip didn't wish for anyone to die, he just wished for someone else to be revived. Then what does Richard want? Are there others trying to kill as well? I feel like that's the case. Yeah, I know it is, but it's at the tip of my tongue, but I just can't get my thoughts to come together. What the hell is going on? A fun spectacle, that's what. Don't you worry, at the end everything will make sense. Probably. There's still 8 more wishes to be made. Well, technically 9 since your wish hasn't been granted yet. Go on, Kishi, tell me what you want. If Grandma is dead, then The only valid wish would be to bring her back and then hope that Zeph can give her immortality that she wants. Or leave her dead? I could just leave her dead. Zeph would win eventually and realize that I didn't give her immortality. And then just leave it at that, right? That's also an option too, isn't it? If she's gone, what happens then? Am I free from her? Or will some of her most devout and reliable partners try to bring her back? No doubt that if that happened, Grandma would come back for me with the wrath of 1,000 suns. If this is a plan by Nigel, then if I interfere, then I'll be on the chopping block for sure. What about the others? Will Sebastian and Cole care? Freedom or duty? Freedom or duty? Freedom or duty? Contemplating quite a bit, aren't you now? Not really, I think I know what I wish for. Just bring Kana Umishima back to life. Interesting, but your wish is my command. Belle tapped the leaf on her four-leaf clover. It glowed gold for just a moment before returning to its usual green colour. You look like you're agonising over that decision. Were you really ready to let your grandma stay dead? If she was gone, then I'd have true freedom, wouldn't I? No more nagging, no more lessons, no more plans, she'd just be gone. Zeph and I wouldn't have to worry about her being over our shoulders anymore. It would be done, we'd be free. And yet you chose to revive her all the same. I don't think my grandma is perfect. She's leading a cult, she's judgmental, she threatened to kill me and my boyfriend. She's losing her mind. I'm hearing a lot of reasons for her to stay dead. But she's still my grandma, I love her. I know there's good in there somewhere. Before she went crazy, she was caring. I know that she just needs to be normal again. And if she's going to atone for what she's done, then she needs to be sane of mind. You're putting a lot of faith that your grandmother will return to her senses. Why, she might just continue doing what she's done for the past several years, or she might end up becoming worse. Maybe. Maybe. But I have to hope, don't I? I suppose you're right. There's no telling what she'll be up to if she gets what she wants. Though for now, I imagine that she's going to be very confused and very angry, as will everyone else around here. Did you revive her back at the field? Of course, it'll be an amazing recovery, although such a recovery is going to cause a bunch of hysteria to those around her, much like her death. What the hell is going on? All in due time, Kishi. All in due time. A wave of fatigue washed over my body. Right, this overwhelming desire for sleep. Speaking of which, I believe that our time here is up. I'm flattered that you came all this way to see me again. It really is lovely to see you grow and change. Yeah, hopefully this is the last time we meet like this. Truth is, I don't want to see your face ever. Before I could finish my sentence, my consciousness faded from me. I felt the warmth of oblivion slowly cradle me. Freedom. It's so close. I just hope that when all this is over, I'll be able to get it. That Zeph and I will finally be free of all this madness. Kishi end. Freedom to rock and roll on. She came back to life, She came back like a repeated lyric, because her last victory was Pyrrhic? Stalwart as a rolling stone, rolling onto her own tone. She wants to be free from this painful song, no longer wants to play along. One more cycle through the shame. She hopes that this is her last game. It's a lot more fun doing this like a song. Now I see why she loves music so much. But that aside, you've learned your lesson well enough, Kishi. You learned yours a long time ago. But reaffirming it is no problem whatsoever. Still, we're only halfway there, so keep it up as we begin again. Kishi's special notes unlocked. Ah, hello there, dear reader. Again? Don't mind me. What's a little wall breaking among friends? We are friends, aren't we? I see that you've been busy. Congratulations on working so hard. I'm so proud of you. Keep up the good work. Are you enjoying the game thus far? Any people that you're rooting for? Someone you're smitten with? Someone you hope gets what they want? Any people you're rooting against that you hope suffer? Someone that you hope get their desires twisted against them? Well, I certainly am enjoying myself either way. We're already a quarter of the way through. Still quite a number of trials to go. At the same time, are you intrigued? Do you see connections? Hints at things going on behind the scenes? Maybe it's still too early to tell, but maybe you'll notice a few things from here on out. If not, well, just enjoy the ride. I think we'll be in for quite a fun treat in the end. Though I think there's just one thing I want to let you in on. Sometimes it doesn't matter how you win, or where you win, or what you win, but when you win. Is that too cryptic? You'll have to forgive me. There's still a lot left to see, and I don't wish to spoil the fun. How about this? Have some questions ready for the next time we meet. Think of it as a little homework assignment. The next time we talk, I'm sure you'll be asking me to clarify a few details. Or maybe not. Still, it'll be fun to chat again. Until then, good luck, and good fortune. And we are back. Alright, now we need to pick a new path. So let's jump into our flowchart, and we are going to take the path where We don't sacrifice ourselves. After a grueling game, Clyde must make a decision. Kill Devon to win or die and ensure Devon's survival. This time we have to kill Devon. Kill her and live. This is what she would want, isn't it? Was I being selfish? Was it just using her words as an excuse not to feel horrible? Before I could even think any more about it, my free hand pressed the left button. All I could do was look up at her with pained eyes. Should I tell her that I killed her? Would that be the noble thing to do? Did honor even matter at a time like this? She was going to die. I killed her. What good would a few words do when your life was over? Round 7 is over. Punishments have been selected. The solo shall have their hearts shot with a gun. The trio member will be put to sleep and then injected with a toxin that will stop their heart. I knew you were smart, Clyde. I couldn't say anything. Tears had simply welled up in my eyes and were overflowing across my face. We've been playing as Devon for so long that it's really weird to be back as Clyde. All the physical anguish and pain I had suffered was nothing compared to knowing that Devon was knocking on death's doorstep and that death was far too eager to answer. Dude, don't cry. You're not really the type that looks cute when you're crying. Stop making jokes when you're about to die. Damn it, Chip. You're the only person here I can trust, that I care about. What the hell am I going to do if you're gone? You're smart, Clyde. I'm sure you'll figure something out. Damn, hard to keep my eyes open. There's so much shit that I wanted to say, but I guess I chickened out. Alright, I'll just say it. Dude, you're one of the smartest and most determined people I know. That's why I know you can win this. I know you'll be able to figure things out. So don't blame yourself, alright? You gotta stop getting down on yourself and realize that you're not a failure. You're a spectacular, one-of-a-kind guy and... Devon? Devon, wake up. Don't fall asleep. Damn it, Devon. Wake up, please. I can't do this without you. Devon, please. I'm not spectacular. I'm not. I'm just a failure. Congratulations, Clyde. You've won. You've defeated the other team and come out victorious. Confetti began to shower down from the sky, and Belle suddenly appeared behind me, putting her hands on my shoulder. It was an impressive show. I must admit that I'm quite proud of your performance. Oh, let's take care of your injuries now, shall we? Can't have you feeling less than perfect before the next game. With a snap of the fingers, somehow all my injuries mended themselves. The pain vanished instantly. See, good as new. I bet you're feeling super dandy right now. Don't fuck with me. I beg your pardon? With my body no longer being handicapped by the pain of my injuries, I lunged at Belle with both arms. Rage and sorrow fueled my steps as I attempted to grab her throat, but she puffed into a cloud of blue smoke before appearing right behind me again. Oh, come on, Clyde, you don't really think you can hurt me here, do you? You're smarter than that. I squared up to her again, keeping my eyes locked onto hers. Bring her back. Bring Devon back. And if I were to refuse, then I'm not going to play your stupid games anymore. And that's going to be a bit of a problem, Clyde. You're going to ruin things for everyone if you don't play along. Maybe you need a little more motivation. Are you a carrot or a stick kind of person? Cut the crap. I don't know if you're some kind of god or a witch or whatever, but you clearly have some kind of power here. Bring Devon back to life. You're stubborn, but maybe that's your heart talking. Just do it. No. I swung a fist toward her and she simply sidestepped out of the way. Such passion. I knew I was going to like you the minute that you showed up. I swung again, trying to actually connect a blow rather than wildly whipping my arm around. But again, she simply moved out of my reach. If you keep this up, Clyde, I might just have to kill you. And I don't like breaking my own rules, and more importantly, it would be such a shame if you died right after Devon urged for you to live. You shut up. You don't get to talk about what she wanted or her final wishes. What are you going to do about it? She raised her hand and closed it into a fist. I felt all the air in my lungs get squeezed out like the water in a sponge, and my body felt as though it was being constricted by rope. I'll be honest with you, Clyde. I don't break my own rules, so I'm not going to kill you, but remember that I can always pull upon your fears, your weaknesses, and torment you to make you act. This is my realm, this is my game, and you should play it to the end, to learn the lesson that all those who played before have learned. I stared up at her, wanting to curse as some force kept my voice silent. Remember this, in my realm you play by my rules. You're not so special that you can make demands of my rules, and you're not the first nor the last I will tell this to. The intensity on her face softened quickly before she snapped her fingers and the door in the room opened. Now I suggest you get some rest. You've still got a few rounds ahead of yourself if you want to win. And put aside that brash defiance and do what you ought to do. Try to win the game. I'd be very impressed if you were the first, after all. Toodles. She disappeared into a puff of blue smoke and eventually I felt myself unrestrained. I sat down for a moment, wallowing in self-pity and a smouldering anger. Devon wouldn't want me to throw away my chance at life. If I just gave up, then I might as well have given her the chance to live. This was the logic that I told myself anyway, just enough of an idea to pick myself up off the ground and force myself to walk rather than stay in a depressed stupor. I walked through a hallway, not even sure what I was walking toward. Eventually I found myself in a similar lounge, like when I first arrived. It was a bit bigger, and there was a room to the side that looked like a kitchen and a bathroom as well. Thinking about it, I didn't feel hungry or thirsty. I can't imagine that Belle wants us to cook, and thankfully, I haven't felt the need to use the bathroom. Not yet, anyway. Is she just making this place look more homely for our comfort? Probably not. I see 3 other large doors ahead of me. I guess that's what we'll be heading toward next, once the others get here. I turn back and notice that there are 4 doors behind me. Obviously, there was the door that I just left, which means that the others should be coming out of those doors. And if I remember right, the doors don't open until the game is finished, which means that Richard, Philip, Grant and Jade should be doing their game now. I wonder if they were going to have to go through the same hellish ordeal that I was having to go through. Maybe. Maybe it'd be something different. I couldn't know, and chances were that I'd get my answer soon enough anyway. I walked over toward one of the couches in the lounge and sat myself down on it, eventually lying, just staring up at the ceiling. The silence of this room was uncomfortable. All I could do was think about everything that just happened, all the pain I just suffered, all the words that were said, all the words that were unsaid. Everything just repeated in my mind over and over and over again, like an endless nightmare. I was thinking about where things could have gone better, what choices I could have made to not have this be the outcome that I created. Why did Devon say all those things? Why did she lie to me? I'm not smart or dependable or anything. If I was, I wouldn't have to rely on some stupid, obscure online opportunity to help my mother. I'm just a failure. Someone who couldn't get his act together and actually do what he was supposed to do. It's all I've ever been. Except now I'm worse because my failures are causing others to suffer, to die. What the hell do I do? What does a failure like me even do? I guess it's self-explanatory, isn't it? I just fail. What do you mean you got put on an academic suspension? I just missed a few too many exams and I didn't turn in the homework a few times. A few times? Clyde, they don't suspend people for missing homework 1 or 2 times. And how do you miss exams? It'd be one thing if you didn't do well on them, but apparently you just missed them? How the hell does that happen, Clyde? It was those damn games, wasn't it? No, I just slipped in a few too many times. Don't lie to me, Clyde, I can see it on your face. I told you time and time again, don't get obsessed with those games. I warned you over and over again to focus on your studies. And all it took was 1 semester for you to completely ruin everything. I didn't ruin everything. Clyde, what are you going to do now? You can't go back for another year. A whole year. We had everything planned for you. We made compromises and now it's just... Why couldn't you put down those damn games for a few weeks, a few days and just focus on passing your classes? Don't you understand how important your future is? You can't just live in a fantasy world where you get to live in eternal bliss and entertainment. Are you even listening to me? Look up at me and tell me you understand. Clyde, look at me. You can't just run to the games when things get hard for you. I'm going to take care of this myself. If you can't see the problem, then I'm going to have to fix things for you until you realize what you have to do. What are you doing? Where are you going? Mum? Mum, that's my computer. You can't just take it. Your choice, Clyde. You can keep your computer, or you can go somewhere else to live. Or you can let me keep it under lock and key until you get your act together. I'm tired of you resigning yourself to mediocrity. I know you can do better. You just have to try. You have to find something and not waste away. Are you listening to me? Stop looking down with that pitiful look on your face. Look at me. Look at me. Yeah. Sleep poorly? What the hell are you doing? Watching me sleep? You're mumbling around in your sleep, so I figured I'd make sure you didn't roll off the couch and hurt yourself. The last thing you want is a broken nose from falling off your bed. I'd know. The concern is appreciated, but I don't move around in my sleep. That's good. I'll remember that next time. Well, I'll try to anyway. Hey, if you're here, then that means you finished your game. Yeah, we actually just got it in a few minutes ago. We? Jade, Grant, and myself all made it through. Grant and Jade are in the kitchen right now. So Philip didn't make it then. His face darkened for a moment as he put his hands together and sighed. Yeah, Dad wasn't able to make it through the race in time. That's a shame, but it'll be okay. Dad was pretty adamant about being left behind. He wanted to be left behind? Our game was a race, or I guess more like an obstacle course. We're actually doing pretty fine, it's just... Well, for our game, only the first 3 people who made it to the end would be allowed to live. The loser who got 4th place was executed. That's horrible. Yeah, my dad's not exactly in running shape, to be honest, so I had to help him out through most of the course. And at the end, I told him that I'd be fine being left behind, but he pushed me over the finish line like the old fool he is. So he sacrificed himself for you? That's one way you could put it. Well, how else would you interpret it? Maybe he doesn't want to deal with whatever else might be coming up and took the coward's way out. Maybe he knew he wouldn't be able to get far if he got through this first game and wanted to save himself the hassle. Maybe he really believed in me, and it wasn't a sacrifice as much as he genuinely believed I could win. I know I'm my dad, he probably just wanted to go, so I'd try and make friends. Figures that if he's around, that I just cling on to him. He's not wrong though. How can you talk so casually about your dad's death like this? Aren't you angry? Aren't you upset? Well, I'm not happy he just died in front of my eyes. But it's not like he's gone forever. What kind of an insane logic was this guy working on? The dead are dead, they don't come back to life. Sure they do. No they don't. I guess no one really told you about this whole game thing, how this whole game thing works, huh? Wasn't that obvious when we first met? I've never been to one of these dumb fortune games before. I don't understand how you're taking everything so calmly when people are dying. Richard just stared at me like a teacher who was disappointed in their students' lack of understanding. As if what he was saying was so obvious, so fundamental that he was awestruck as to how I didn't know of it already. Ah, I understand now. That's why you're so distraught right now. You had to kill 3 people. He spoke those words like he was just talking to a friend over coffee. Like he didn't just go through the most agonizing experience of my life. Sorry, I was jumping the gun there. You didn't necessarily kill them. It could have been some kind of race or another 4-player game where any number of you could have died. That or it was a 1 versus 3 game and you were the one side that came out victorious. I guess that's one of the options, right? What does it matter to you what happened? I don't want to think about it anymore. Your eyes, they're full of sorrow, guilt and shame. My guess is that you had, in some part, caused the death of your friend Devon, right? I felt my throat get hot and my hands balled up into fists. I was sick of hearing this creep talk. I didn't need to get psychoanalyzed right here and now. Just shut up, man. I don't want to talk about it. I felt my eyes watering up again. I tried to hide my face by rubbing my sleeves against my face. You weren't there. You don't know what the hell we went through. I didn't want to kill anyone. I didn't want to hurt anyone. And in the end, Devon, she... How the hell am I supposed to pick between my own life and my best friend's? Richard reached out and put a hand on my shoulder, slowly pulling my arm down. He gave an uneasy yet sympathetic smile. It's good that you feel pain and regret about it. That means that you're still human, that you aren't some horrible monster. I was worried you could just go through killing someone and not feel a thing, but you seem to genuinely be suffering. I can't say I understand exactly what it would be like to kill my best friend, but even leaving my father behind left a gnawing pain that still lingers at my heart. And if it's any magnitude stronger than that, then you're carrying a heavy burden. It's no wonder that you're more distraught than anyone, thinking that you'll never see a friend again. How's this guy so perceptive? It's like he's looking through my eyes and right into my very soul and reading my emotions piece by piece. That's his thing. Probably hasn't even been less than an hour. Your heart is probably heavy with guilt. I don't know what it was about his words, but it felt as though he was opening doors and taking down barriers that were keeping all my sadnesses locked up. A stream of tears began to roll down my eyes and my breathing quivered as it slowly devolved into choking sobs. I tried to muffle my crying under my arms. I did my best to keep everything trapped inside even now. Richard left for a few moments and grabbed some napkins and returned so I could clean my face off with them. I don't know how long I'd cried for, but after I settled down he got me a glass of water. I didn't necessarily feel good, but I did feel better. At least enough that I didn't feel constant pressure on my chest anymore. Calmed down enough yet? I think so. Thanks, by the way. I didn't realize that you'd say those kinds of things. You come across as a bit of a creeper. I get that a lot, but I'm not a therapist or a psychologist. I'm just a painter. If I can capture the mood or emotion of a painting, then I'd be pretty bad. If I can't, then I'd be pretty bad at my job. To me, I guess emotions are just drawn on faces, so I can make sense of them for a lot of people. Sounds like a superpower. I'm pretty sure it's just empathy or some other innate thing in humans. I'm just a bit more aware of it, I guess. More importantly, I need to tell you that your friend isn't really dead. Or at least she's not going to be permanently dead. Just, can you explain to me how you know that? My dad told me that's how this game works. That's probably why he was so comfortable dying. Essentially, death doesn't quite work here in the same way. He told me that it's temporary, like taking a nap, that everyone eventually wakes back up. I'm going to need something more concrete than your dad's words. Well, I've seen it happen. Does that count? You've seen it happen? You've seen people come back to life after death? Well, no, I haven't seen them, but 4 years ago I saw people enter some glowing gate, the same glowing gate we did. And I also saw them come back up, but they couldn't be dead, so they couldn't be dead. Wait, have you been here before? Here, in this place? Not exactly, but my dad and I did come to see this sort of ceremony ritual thing happen. We wanted to participate in the Game of Fourtune 4 years ago, but they were already full. So we decided we'd just stay and watch. Honestly, it was about the same thing we went through. A big speech, people were lined up, and then they went through the gate. And they came back? Yeah, at 4:44 on the same night. The same day, the lights did the same thing that they did in the morning, making a blue gate, and then everyone walked right back out. So they all really did come back normal. They weren't like husks or clones or anything like that. I mean, they were the same people, but they were also different. I could see it in their eyes. Something had changed. Maybe they were shocked by what they saw, or they were satisfied by whatever they did in there. I guess if I came back after thinking I killed my best friend, I'd be pretty different too. Exactly. So that's really all to say that things are probably going to be okay. I guess I feel a little better if this is really all true. It's true. What he's saying, by the way. Grant walked over toward us and handed me a sandwich on a plate. I asked him to make you something. Hope you don't mind. No, I appreciate it. I'm just a little curious how you know he's telling the truth. Well, he's been through the game. He looked away somewhat and shook his head. I just know. Can I leave it at that for now? I suppose I'm just telling you so that you don't end up losing your mind thinking you've killed someone you can't bring back. Because there's a very stark difference between that and what's going on here. You sound as though you're personally familiar with what's going on here. I'd rather not talk about it. There are no good memories in this place. That's a shame. I was hoping I'd get to learn more about these things. Heck, I wanted to ask Zeph and Kishi, but why Zeph and Kishi? Zeph and Kishi played in the Game of Fortune 4 years ago, so I was going to ask them about it when I got the chance, but it seems they're gone, which, you know, is kind of impressive. You beat veterans of the game. I can't imagine that's an easy feat. I didn't exactly feel very proud about it, but sure. Really, they both played the game 4 years ago? That, or they have extremely convincing body doubles or twins. That's strange. Why do you say that? I suppose I'm wondering why they'd come here again. Firstly, I think that only a fool or a madman would try to enter this place after going in once. So they must have some good reason for coming here again. I suppose it depends on what they get out of the game itself, right? These wishes? I think that most people would probably risk a ton if it meant that they could get a wish granted. Yes, that is if they were normal wishes, but these aren't normal wishes? Not quite, but there isn't really any reason to speak much more on the subject. They're gone. I doubt I'll get the chance to ask them about this topic this time around. I guess you're right about that? Hey, you people done being glum already? You've got absolutely no ability to read the room. Look, I get that we went through some real terrible shit, but we should be living in the moment. We're alive. We're going to make the most of it. Now, who wants a drink? I'll pass. None for me. No, thank you. I hope the others come by and are willing to have a drink. You won't have to wait much longer. The champs have arrived. Alright, I'm going to wrap this one up here because with William, it's just going to be lots of talking now. We got a lot of people because we've only been through one game now, technically, so we've only lost 4. So there's 12 of us still? Is that right? Anyway. We'll come back and we'll kick off the next game, I suppose, whatever that is going to entail. But we're Clyde again, so that's interesting. I assume the ending that is Clyde's proper ending will be the true ending of the game. So I can't imagine that's going to come anytime soon. So it's going to be one of the others. I don't know who at this stage, but I guess we'll see. Thanks for watching, Bruce, and I'll see you in the next one.